We begin tonight with a major development in a political story dating back to the 2020 presidential election. Today, a judge dismissed criminal charges brought against more than a dozen people, including the mayor of Wyoming, described as fake electors. They were accused of trying to influence the outcome of the election in Michigan in favor of Donald Trump. 13 on your side's Callie Lichter explains why the judge says prosecutors failed to provide probable cause to bring this case to trial.
The election fraud cases against 15 people who were alleged to have been fake Republican electors in Michigan's 2020 presidential election have been dropped, a Lansing judge ruled Tuesday. The 15 criminal co-defendants, including current Wyoming Mayor Kent Vanderwood, were charged with 8 counts by State Attorney General Dana Nessel, including forgery and election law forgery, for allegedly trying to sway the election in Donald Trump's favor.
This is not an election interference case, and there's many things that could cause a pause in the electoral process, and it doesn't mean that it's criminal.
The burden of proof in these cases was on the state, with the people needing to show probable cause the electors intended to commit election fraud, which Judge Kristen Simmons says the prosecution did not do.
And I don't believe that there's evidence sufficient to prove intent.
Judge Simmons says the case wasn't with criminal intent, rather a misguided effort to exercise their constitutional rights.
It's an intent to exercise what you believe is your constitutional right. And she also stated in that post something about they were well documented, meaning that they're preserving their right and they got proof of that they preserved their right.
The court also found insufficient evidence to prove the defendants meant to commit fraud or forgery.
It was these individuals and many other individuals in the state of Michigan who sincerely believed, for some reason, that there were some serious irregularities with the election or with the voting, and that somehow their candidate didn't receive all the votes that was intended for them.
She also says the alternate document they created did not have forgeries, fake seals, or attempt to deceive. Judge Simmons says regardless of race, creed, political beliefs, the law applies to everyone equally.
For those reasons, these cases will not be bound over to the circuit court. Each case will be dismissed.
Callie joins us now from the newsroom. And Callie, is this case over?
Not completely, Juliet. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel still has nearly 1.5 months to appeal today's decision to dismiss.
Our team coverage continues now as Dana Nessel was quick to respond to the decision. Our Josh Albertus has more on the disappointment in the ruling from her and her view of the case.
Congratulations. Cases dismissed. After roughly 2 years of litigation, the charges against who had been 15 alleged fake Republican electors from Michigan's 2020 election now dropped. Judge Kristen Simmons throwing out the cases brought by Democratic State Attorney General Dana Nessel's office, who called the decision disappointing.
This was, in my belief, a coordinated attempt to overturn the will of the American people and reinstate Donald Trump as president, despite Joe Biden's victory in the election to that office.
The attorney for one of the now ex-defendants heralding the judge's decision.
My client's thrilled. Hank Choate had never been in trouble in his life. He did not deserve to be put through this for the last 2 years.
The judge also waving off any suggestions that the court delayed the case as, quote, preposterous, given the nature of the case and number of defendants. Nessel saying her office has the option to appeal the judge's decision.
They knew they were not electors. They knew they were not inside the Capitol. They knew Donald Trump lost.
Some now putting their frustrations on Nessel, with this attorney claiming the prosecution was politically motivated.
This was a political persecution by the Attorney General's office against my client. And she proves it by her own press conference, spending so much time attacking Donald Trump and talking about things that are totally irrelevant to this case.
But Nessel pushing back against such claims.
To not have brought these charges in the face of these facts because it would have been controversial or met with political accusations would really actually be the most political thing a prosecutor could do.
And Josh is here in studio now. Josh, have we heard from any of the local defendants in this case?
Yeah, we did reach out to the attorney for Wyoming Mayor Kent Vanderwood as well. As of this afternoon, we had not yet heard back for comment.